Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This episode is brought to you by Saturn Advice. My name is Joyce, a financial advisor. Also with me today is my fellow advisor, lovely Lungs. Hello, Lungs.
Hi, good morning.
So today we want to talk about retirement planning in your 60s. If you are in your 60s, chances are you are gearing up for retirement. As you wade into the retirement water, there is often an emotional cocktail of relief, excitement, and then anxiety. As financial advisors, we work with many people in their 60s. We observe some common themes that keep people up at night. We know if these events are dealt with correctly and early on, it may have a huge positive impact on the quality of your retirement life. Therefore, we decided to make it into a video. So in this mini series, there are 4 parts to it. The topics we will cover are, first of all, the transition from working to not working, the purchasing power of your money, traps and pitfalls to avoid, and also what do I do with my KiwiSaver now I'm 65. Before we delve into the first topic, just want to go through the disclaimers. That's for the lawyers out there. The information that we share today are general information only. These are not personalized financial advice because we don't know your personal circumstances. So, Lungs, here's a question for you, right? One of the key considerations for people in their 60s is the transition from working to not working. And often we see a range, like on one end of spectrum, people want to retire as soon as they financially can. On the other hand, some people never plan to retire. And then we have the middle ground, phased retirement. So you work with many retirees. What are you seeing? What approach works best?
Yeah, look, really good point, Joyce. I guess I've found a lot of clients have really struggled when they're fully retired from day one. It's a massive adjustment for them. They would have been working 40, 45 years. Been in a set routine, and all of a sudden, they're not working. So that can be a massive adjustment for them without having the social connections or the discipline of going to work each day. So many clients have told me they've struggled with that. Look, I've got a couple of examples. I was in a corporate cab in Auckland recently, and the cab driver was taking me out to the airport, and he told me that he had fully retired and that he just couldn't play golf 5 or 6 days anymore, that his friends were working. So he was now driving a cab 3 or 4 days a week, and the other days he was playing golf with his friends. And that tended to work quite well for him. Another client who fully retired from day one told me that he was busier his first year than when he was actually working, because he spent the first year charging around completing decks for all the family, and he said he was totally exhausted after 12 months, and then he had to try and work out what he was going to do going forward. So I guess the feedback, to answer your question, the feedback I've had is that clients that have eased into retirement by dropping down to 4, 3 or 2 days, that seems to have worked a lot better. I guess the other thing too is they're still getting income coming in, and it's easy for them to manage their budget going into retirement. Also, they end up maybe joining some social clubs or doing some voluntary work or some other activities on those days off. And I think that's a nice way to adjust into your retirement years. Secondly, I think also if your partner's still working full time, that can create a difficulty as well. Mm-hmm. If you're at home thinking, what am I going to do? And your partner's at work all day. So I think that adjustment of easing in and cutting the days down from 4, 3 to 2 is very effective. And also I found that a lot of employers are quite happy to do that. They want to keep the experience of that particular employee, and they're quite happy for him or her to just ease back and drop down, but still contribute to the business. Yeah. So it's very much a subjective test, but to answer your question, I think the feedback for those easing into retirement has been a more beneficial way to do it.
Yes, thanks for sharing. That's quite insightful. Reflecting on my experience of dealing with helping clients, some of them coming off a very demanding corporate job and suddenly have nothing to do and feel like there is a bit of identity crisis. So yeah, like the transition does take a bit of planning and some thorough thinking.
Absolutely. Yes, it does. Yes.
And I think, Lance, most people approaching retirement is doing this for the first time. Not many of us have the luxury of retiring for the second or third time. So it is new and it is full of unknown. It will be really good to have a thinking partner or a sounding board. So in this instance, Lance, do you think a financial advisor can assist in this situation, and in what way?
Yeah, look, absolutely. I think if you've got a financial advisor to assist you, that's absolutely crucial. Probably in two areas, Joyce. One is goal setting. What are your short term, medium term, and long term goals in retirement, and what is the cost of those? And that leads on to budgeting. So the advisor can sit down with the clients and work out what sort of budget they're going to need in their retirement years. Now, that's actually got to happen pre-retirement, Joyce, because it may well be that the advisor advises the clients to work another 1, 2, or 3 years to enable them to have sufficient funds to get through the retirement years. Look, also things like where are they going to live? For example, obviously, if you look at the South Island view, it's cheaper to live in Ashburton or Timaru than it would be in Christchurch. In the North Island, it would be cheaper to live in Palmerston North than it would be to live in Auckland or Wellington. So where you're living will have a major consideration. Also, what your hobbies are. I mean, are you into going out to the cafes all the time? Are you into hiking, overseas travel? Do you have relations to visit, domestic travel, the theatre, the bowling club? How much are all those activities going to cost? And the advisor can sit down with the clients and just work out what the appropriate budget would be. And what drawings they're going to need to sort of back up their New Zealand superannuation. And I guess a crucial role is that the advisor can work out some projections based on average long-term returns. And I think that does give them some confidence going into their retirement years that they can have a very fulfilling and good retirement after working 40, 45 years.
It's fantastic. Thank you, Lance. To sum it up, planning is really important. And from a retiree perspective, think about where you're going to retire, what are your pursuits, what kind of lifestyle that you want to live, and use the help of a financial advisor. We can help you work it out.
Exactly. And I think the key thing that I should mention is that I know you and I were looking at the Statistics New Zealand results the other day, and if a male gets to 65 in good health, he's going to live to around 89, a female to around about 90. So our savings have to last a lot longer. We're living a lot longer. So that's another consideration that an advisor can assist with in the pre-retirement planning.
Great.